game tomorrow. And I can't click anything. What happened? Okay, there we go. How not to launch an indie game by BenBonk. Need to learn because
Negative
I'm work.
200.
If you didn't know, I'm working on my indie game, so it's best that I learn from everywhere, get as much information so that I don't flop.
Negative $221.
Honestly, not that bad. I've heard much worse. Like literally, people go into debt. Like they put their house on the line, bro, and then they lose. Yeah, yeah. I could not do. I'm not like what's it? If I had the house, I would not put my house on the line for like a indie game. I'm not that kind of person to take that big of a risk.
That's
Nah.
how much money I have made or lost since releasing my roguelike barn builder game, Wrangle Ranch, last January. So, how do we get here? Well, let me explain. Alright, so let's hop
Honestly,
back.
not too bad, bro. Like $200. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a lot, but could make it back at least. Like imagine like $100,000. Like, nah.
To July of last year, where I'm coming off my big commercial release, Slime Heap, and I decided to take part in the GMDK Game Jam 2025.
Also, you already made a successful game. Props to you.
Now, I'm not doing this jam solo. I'm teaming up with fellow game developer X-Ray Dev and my composer friend KJ. In just a few days, we make a game called Wrangle Ranch, where you play as a farmer who has to lasso animals to beat ever-increasing point quotas. You can
Mm,
grow your deck of animals, upgrade them, and create game-breaking combos with the use of boons. Now, X-Ray, KJ, and I were all really happy with this game, and the jam feedback was super positive, so we decided to spend a few more months extending it and turning it into a full commercial release, just with new
yes.
animals, boons, and mechanics to make the game feel more complete. We then did a big marketing push, ported the game to mobile devices, and released it on January 19th, 2026. And we were cautiously optimistic. Our wishlists were a
Mm.
bit low at the time, but we'd hoped the
How much is it?
and we were cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, that's €6. That's like what, $10? Or I forgot what the current conversion is. I know the euro used to be stronger than the dollar for the longest time, but I'm not sure right now.
Our wishlists were a
But either way, it's like it's a fair price, honestly.
bit low at the time, but we'd hoped the quality and we were cautiously optimistic. Our wishlists were a bit low at the time, but we'd hoped the quality of our game would shine through and that hopefully some of the YouTubers we reached out to would play the game. After all, I learned a ton about marketing from Slimekeep's release about a year prior, and X-Ray
Mm,
had already released a very successful game on Steam and mobile,
nice.
selling tens of thousands of copies and getting tons of big YouTubers to play
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
let's just say things did not pan out as we expected. So, how did the game actually sell? Well, let me break it down. We priced the game at $5.99 on Steam with a 33% launch discount,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, this is a great price.
making the game $3.99 for the first 2 weeks. Since
Mm.
releasing the game,
But but though, why discount the game at the start? Because most people, most of your early customers, I mean, wait, most people, who, I'm not wording this right. Uh, when your game launches, usually, like most of the time, it can be different in sometimes, but most of the time, your first month is where you get the most sales. So like putting it on sale in the first week seems like a bad decision. Like you should at least wait 1 week before you like put it on sale. But you can do what you want. I mean, I haven't released a successful game, so what do I know?
we've sold 448 copies, grossing us $1,920 on Steam. But then we have refunds and value added tax, dropping this number
Mm.
down to $1,592.
Okay,
Then
still
Steam
not bad.
takes their 30% cut, and we're down
Oh,
to
that's
around
before the cut.
$1,114,
Yeah, it's still not
nearly
bad.
half of what we started at. So
mm,
that's just for Steam, but the game also released for the App Store and Google Play, so let's take a look there. As for pricing for mobile, we decided to make the game free, but in a demo state. You can pretty much play the game as normal, but with a limited set of animals, boons, farmers, and difficulty levels. However, you
mm,
could pay $3.99 to unlock the full game. Also, notably, we didn't run ads in this free mobile version, which may or may not have been smart financially, but hey, we as a team just don't like ads. Anyways, on the App
that's
Store,
fair.
we sold 59 copies for a total of $187 after Apple's cut, and we sold 10 copies on the Google Play Store for a total of $28 after Google's cut. So at this
Mm,
point, you may say, hey, totaling up all the revenue for all three storefronts is around $1,329.
yeah, it's
It's
so
not
positive.
terrible. But that's
Mm.
assuming the game was completely free to make, and
Oh
unfortunately,
yeah,
it wasn't.
yeah.
Firstly, we have storefront setup fees. For Steam, it's $100 for any game you want to publish. For Apple, it's another $100, and for Google Play, it's $25. So that's an easy negative $225 right there. Next, we had this wonderful capsule art created by That Worm, which ran us about $240. Then we had some
Mm,
voiceover work done for the trailer, which was $25, some GitHub cloud building storage fees, which is around $30, but most of all was paying our composer KJ for the music, which came in at $1,300.
much.
Now, he nailed the soundtrack, and I don't regret paying him a fair price whatsoever, but it definitely did put X-Ray and I into the negatives for now.
Yeah.
But something I should mention is the specific terms of our contract and our revenue share so that things are a little more clear. See, how we set up the contract was that X-Ray and I would receive 45% of the game's revenue each, with the composer KJ receiving 10%. However, we also put in a clause that KJ would receive 100% of the game's first $1,300 to cover his music commission and then drop to 10% afterwards. This way, we
Mm.
didn't have to pay him up front, and we didn't think it would be an issue as we anticipated making much more than $1,300. We also agreed to split all costs for the game mentioned above according to our revenue shares. So,
Very
for example,
thoughts.
with the $100 Steam app fee, I had to pay $45, X-Ray had to pay $45, and KJ had to pay $10 out of pocket for this expense. Now, because of
Um,
this number you see isn't actually completely accurate and is slightly worse off for X-Ray and I, but I didn't want to make things too confusing. Anyways, there it is, all out in the open. The game was definitely profitable, but really only for KJ as of now because of the terms of our
mm.
contract. So maybe that was a mistake on X-Ray and I's end, but oh well, I guess we just anticipated making more than we actually did. So, what went wrong? Why did the game sell so few copies? Well, obviously, I don't know the exact reason, but I can give a few guesses as to why. Firstly, I think the main reason was that we simply didn't have enough time to build up significant traction for our game, as we launched with only around 1,000 wishlists. See,
Mm.
wishlists are just so crucial for Steam's algorithm, and ideally you're supposed to have 7 to 10,000 minimum before launching the game, depending where you look. We simply didn't have these numbers, so Steam did not push our game to many new people. Now, why do I think our wishlist numbers were so low? Here are my guesses. Firstly, we rushed into Steam Next Fest. If you don't know, Steam Next Fest is an event that happens 3 times a year on Steam that showcases new and upcoming game demos. We entered the Steam Next Fest in October 2025 and really had to grind to meet the deadline,
I
as the
wonder
next
when's
fest
the
after
next
that wasn't until
Exodus.
February 2026, and we wanted the game to be out far before then. So we
Mm.
entered Steam Next Fest with only a few hundred wishlists, which turned out to be a huge mistake. Apparently, you're
Mm.
supposed to already have thousands of wishlists going into Steam Next Fest for it to really boost your
Damn.
game, which obviously we didn't have. So
Yeah, that's
as a
going
result
pro
of
for
this,
me.
Steam Next Fest only really gave us a few hundred wishlists instead of a few thousand. But that wasn't it for our marketing plan. I also made 12 YouTube shorts and TikToks about the game. In total, these videos got over 600,000 views, which was pretty good. However, not many of these views converted to wish lists. I think a big
Yeah.
part of that was because my call to action at the end of most videos was to play our game's demo. And people did play our game's demo, and ended up gaining over 4,000 downloads on Steam before
Ooh.
launch. However, this didn't appear to help much with the Steam algorithm, so I really just wished I asked for people to wishlist the game instead. Moving on from wishlist, we also weren't able to really gain much traction with the game on YouTube. As per usual, X-Ray and I reached out to tons of YouTubers and streamers with varying success. It was super cool to see big YouTubers such as Alexa and Retromation cover the game, as well as all these smaller ones. But I don't think this led to a ton of traffic to the game itself. It's also worth noting that my devlogs on the game obviously didn't get as many views as the Slimekeep ones, and there were definitely far fewer of them, so that definitely played a factor. But marketing
Mm.
aside, who knows? I personally think the game is super fun, has tons of replayability, and it's gotten really positive feedback so far, so we must have done something right. Though maybe there's some deeper reason with the game itself that's more than just we didn't have enough wish lists at launch. Regardless, even if the game didn't sell as well as I would have liked, I still think Ringo Ranch is a success overall. I learned so much from this project, and it was really fun to work on a team for the first time. Success isn't always about how much money you make, but if you're happy with what you put out in the world, and for Wrangell Ranch, I can confidently say I'm happy with what we created. So now you've seen how to not launch a game on Steam, but what's next for me, and how am I going to try to make sure this financial loss doesn't happen again? Well, I definitely think I'm going to step back from releasing commercial games for at least a little bit. I think this constant hustle of developing, marketing, and publishing a game has definitely been a bit draining for me and making game dev feel more like a job than a hobby. See, when you're publishing commercial games, it's so much more work than just making games for fun. You have to worry about setting Steam pages up, constantly marketing and growing your game's audience, and so much business administrative stuff. Seriously, it felt like half of Wrangle Ranch development was just setting up bank accounts and contracts and Steam pages and
Yeah,
marketing and so much other stuff that simply isn't making games.
I still don't have like half of my stuff set up. It's such a pain. Like, bro, I made a Steam Steam basically creator account, yeah, so that I can like put my games on Steam. Bro, they still haven't gotten back to me. I'm still waiting. That's like I think they're gonna have to like send them an email then to ask like, hey, what's going on? Did I not fill it out right or what? Because it takes so much time, bro. And they already took $100 from me, bro.
I think this strife has led me to realize that not every game has to be some big commercial release. It's totally fine to make simple, stupid games that maybe only you will ever play.
Yes, if you have money to survive. If you're broke, nah, you have to make money.
And that's exactly why I fell in love with game development in the first place. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed developing Wrangle Ranch, and there's nothing wrong with making commercial games, but it can also be incredibly draining to spend so much time on non development tasks and make me remember why I got into game development in the first place.
Yeah,
Just
that's
make
true.
fun games that I would like to play myself. So I think moving forward, I'm definitely going to try to reignite my love for game development as things have been feeling a bit formulaic recently. Maybe I'll try a new engine like Godot, as personally my Unity development cycle has been getting a bit stale and repetitive. And maybe I'll finally make some more quirky and unique games, and not just a billion games that are roguelikes or have the same exact graphical style. Maybe I'll also try some new video styles and not just make the same, somewhat formulaic devlogs I've always made. Hopefully,
Yeah,
this
make
should
it
give me
fun
a
for
breath
yourself.
of creative fresh air, but time will tell. So just don't be alarmed if I go silent for a while, or don't start up some new big project right away. Anyways, I hope my ramblings have been informative, and hopefully you won't make these same mistakes I did in your next game.
Very
Just
informative.
remember, I
Yeah.
don't think it's always about how many copies you sell and how much money you make, but if you're happy with the game you made. And I think Wrangle Ranch is really fun, so that's enough for me. But anyways, that's all I've got for now. Thanks a ton for watching. Subscribe if you like it, and maybe check out Wrangle Ranch. That'd be pretty neat, and maybe you can help me get out of my debt.
Nah, I'm sure you're fine. Yeah, great video. That's very informative. Yeah, I enjoyed that. 1,300 for just the basic basic or something. Yeah, bro, like it's cheap, bro. That's a lot. Like, is how many songs is it? Is it in no ways it's just one track? Because for 1,300, like I understand paying people fairly, but that's way too much for one song. There's no way that's just one song. In my opinion, investing in past and computer may have been a bit excessive at this stage. Yes, since improving the visuals likely would have delivered more appeal and direct compensation for for a similar budget. Yeah, true. Like, yeah, the 1,300 for music for such a small game is pretty crazy. Just watching the gameplay during this video, it seems like it's okay. But yeah, well, not everything has to be like a 10 out of 10 gameplay game. You know, I understand some people don't like games like this, but it's a mobile game, bro. Those mindless, what's it called, mindless games can be enjoyed by lots of people.